I'm only doing this out of a request, but I've already addressed this topic. You got a bunch of fake industry plans in the sport of boxing, and it's no different with Gervonta Tank Davis. I compare Tank Davis to a generic Canelo Alvarez. They use the same type of format. When dealing with Tank, they're copying Canelo's format, and I believe I've even heard Ellerby talk about this before. But Jake Paul also copies off Canelo's format, you understand. It's no different with Tank. I've talked about this for so many years, how you have guys in assimilation more so, you have them in the kiddie pool, you have them in a wave pool that if you go to Sunsplash or a water park, instead of actually letting these guys into the ocean, actually learning how to swim and deal with the real sharks. And Tank Davis, he's a guy, you're a 30-year-old prospect, essentially, at the end of the day. You haven't really fought a true risk. You had a couple scares like Isaac Cruz, you understand, and you had to give the coveted, I broke my hand shtick for your bad performance. And they don't really put them in there with guys, that are really out there to win, you understand. These guys oftentimes lay down and things like that, you know what I'm saying? We saw these types of phenomenons with like a Errol Spence and Ugas, for example. Ugas hurts a guy and he doesn't even go after him, you know what I'm saying? Sits there and just lets an opponent pummel him. Now, I'm not saying it's that crazy, but we've always also witnessed this with like a Deontay Wilder with what's his name, his trainer, who you can see took a dive, you know what I'm saying? These guys, they're thrown into assimilation, and boxing is theater today. It's not a sport of merit. So I've already really touched on this subject, but as far as Keyshawn Davis, they know that that's a threat. And these guys are always afraid of threats. It's not who a guy like Al Floyd wants Tank Davis to fight. They want him to continue down this little fake simulated road where it's safe, you understand, it's secure, and it minimizes risk and damage, you understand. Even against Ryan Garcia, and I've said this about Canelo, you put a rehydration clause on Rocky Fielding, who's a C-level fighter, C-minus level fighter, you understand. A guy who really has no world fighter experience, and this shows that you're not confident truly in your abilities, and it's no different with Tank. You fought a Ryan Garcia. A lot of people held Ryan Garcia in low regards, but they were so afraid still that they had to put a rehydration clause on, Ryan Garcia. It wasn't a fair fight because they know that Ryan Garcia is a very big guy. And it just shows you how these dudes move, how they have problems, They wanted to put a rehydration clause on Devin Haney as well. And it sucks that people like Devin Haney, they get crap, Devin Haney did what Jermaine Taylor did. He fought everybody that he could. He went in everyone's backyard and things like that. But people will still sit here and hate on Devin Haney, but they'll glorify a guy like Tank, which I find laughable. Boxing has become an effeminate sport. And like I said, it's fake it till you make it. There's nothing really to expand on here. Tank Davis isn't a real battle-tested fighter. So he's been given this soft little, coordinated career, that once again minimizes risk and damage. They haven't thrown him out into the wolves. And we've talked about this, especially with PBC fighters linked to Al Heyman. When they finally do get into a real situation, oftentimes they will get exposed. You're not in these showcase fights. You're not in this fight where the bull's already rigged in. The bull's already been fatigued and tired and poked and prodded, you understand. It's a different story when they're in a fight where the outcome, they don't know what the outcome's going to be, and they're going to have to earn the outcome off their own merit. And there's really nothing to expand on this situation. Tank knows what it is. Floyd and them know what it is. Al Heyman knows what it is. These guys, today's fighter can't handle what like a Ali or those type of fighters handled back in the day. These guys, it's a different mindset. It's a different fight game today. And these fighters, again, we've talked about this before, but they want to be money, Floyd Mayweather, but they don't want to be Pretty Boy Floyd. And, you know, I even give guys like Teofimo Lopez far more credit than guys like Tank. You know what I'm saying? I just do. These people, they were willing to risk more and they won more. You know what I'm saying? It's like gambling. The more you throw down on the table or whatever else, you know, the more you can potentially win, but also simultaneously, it's like a slugger, you know. You're trying to hit the home run, but you can strike out. And Tank has been in a position where you're still on T-ball. You're still, you know, in underhand pitch, you know. You're still in softball. You know, you're giving softballs instead of, you know, going against a real pitcher throwing some heat at you. And guys, this just goes to more of what I talked about yesterday and what I've talked about over the years. You're a 30-year-old prospect. And I think it was even recent that someone said that Tank is a 30-year-old prospect. And again, he throws out the I have more money than you crap. But at the end of the day, it's just like Wilder, everybody else. Once they hit their real test, you're really going to see where these fighters are. And again, I still don't think they have Tank. He's probably barely grasping at the top 10 pound for pound consensus. There's no way you can have him as a top 5 pound for pound fighter. It's just a joke if they do. I haven't checked the list because I haven't really been paying attention to the sport of boxing. You know, Keyshawn, I think he'll have a little bit of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Just dealing with the size of the event and things like that. He'll have to get over his own nerves, whatever else. But yeah, you know, Tank gets hit a lot too, to be quite honest with you. It's just he's in with opponents that aren't there to be threats. And I think Keyshawn, again, being the bigger guy, longer reach and all that, you know, I don't think Tank is battle tested enough and ready for that type of situation. But Tank does, you know, he is used to the bright lights and things like that to a certain degree, although they're, you know, they're more so stage lights, you know, if you're on the set of a theater, you know, or on a movie set, you understand. There's still a little bit of merit to the bright lights that he's used to, but it's not the real bright lights. And I think Keyshawn will definitely overcome that within the first 3 rounds, get over his nerves and things like that, go to work, and I think he will definitely beat Tank Davis. You know, it'll be a mental issue with why Tank won't be able to secure that win, but we already know they're trying to duck. You know what I'm saying? We already know they don't want that fight. They still want to milk him. PBC is notorious for creating milk cows and trying to tell you that they're actually cash cows when they're not. This is why you have situations where Errol Spence loses a coin toss, and you know why Terrence Crawford now has PBC fighters fighting on his undercards. You understand? It is what it is. And a guy like Terrence Crawford was always making more money than these guys that were always talking about money. You know, Sean Porter was trying to play diva as well. He's like, you got to pay me what I'm worth, and then you get your best payday ever. You know, messing around with Terrence Crawford. You know, him and Spence, they each got, what, 2.5 million guaranteed purse, and this was another reason why things that exposed Errol Spence being a real A-side and a real cash cow. You had people like Jerry Jones buying his tickets and things like that. You know, reality, I've always said this, truth is absolute. It is not subjective, as the world tries to tell you it is. If you put in enough work, you're going to find an objective truth that makes sense, and it's going to be backed by evidence and things like that, because truth is absolute. It is not subjective like the leftoids and everybody try to tell you today, because they are afraid of the truth. You know, fake people are always afraid of the truth, guys. Truth is absolute. Truth is the only thing that existed at the end of the day. You know, and when you try to build your fighter off being fake, it's just going to be a problem for you. It's going to stunt your growth. It's going to stunt that fighter's growth. They're not going to have real confidence in themselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, this situation is no different from any other situation when you're dealing with Tank Davis. You know, I don't understand why he can't fight Teofimo Lopez right now. I don't understand why he can fight a Devin Haney. You know, people say that he's going to knock Devin Haney out. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know, and he may very well do that, because we know Devin Haney's in a very fragile state right now. And plus, he's already got wear and tear on him, because he actually went out there and tried to fight real top competition at a young age. You know, he may have already burnt himself out, but Tank is just not a true apex predator. I've said this so many times. A lot of those guys, especially PBC fighters, are not true apex predators. They move like scavengers. Guys like Canelo are not true apex predators. They move like scavengers. You know, they like to move on wounded prey and things like that. Canelo's not an apex predator. Tank Davis is not an apex predator. Gervonta in his boots is not an apex predator. They move funny and they move too sideways. There's nothing that you guys don't know about this situation that you didn't already know. And again, this was just to address a request for a guy in the comment section. And this is my thoughts on it, but it hasn't changed at all. This is me beating a dead horse, and this is me being a broken record. I will talk to you guys later. And the more the world becomes more normal, hopefully I can get back to more normal content, okay? Talk to you guys later. Bye.